Josh and I always want to know what's going on with the entirety of the business so we can make calculated decisions. I think that's the key is if there are people on our team that are communicating, like people communicate one-on-one all the time, but like the big things with certain retail accounts, with marketing, with Amazon, like whatever it is, the more information we have, the more we can make calculated decisions on the best strategy to grow.
An entrepreneur straight out of New York City, Michael Chernow. What's cracking?
What up, family? Mike Chernow back in the seat. Creatures of Habit podcast. What's goody? I've got a guest on the show today who's a buddy. He is a founder. He is a fantastic human being. He is a bearded man.
Today.
He's a bearded man.
Today.
His name is Manny Lubin. You guys have definitely seen me post about Slate Milk. This stuff is the shit. And if you're not on Slate Milk, you might as well change that today. This is your fucking reminder. Manny is the co-founder of Slate Milk. It is a chocolate milk with all the benefits. Actually good for you, lactose free. All the nons are there, and this stuff is so good. It's 100 calories. It's 20 grams of protein. I use this shit every single day, and Manny came up with the idea, right? So, like, I feel like I'm a kid again, drinking chocolate milk at the desk, like guilt-free, and it's taken the world by storm. Manny is an entrepreneur. He's from Boston. He's one of the coolest guys ever. Dude is in great shape. He's an athlete. Grew up an athlete. And, now he's like painting the walls of UFC. Every single UFC fight is like slammed with Slate Milk. So I can't wait to talk to Manny about the biz because we're both colleagues in this world of consumer packaged goods in a very, very hyper competitive space. But I don't think we'd want it any other way. So I'm really excited to have Manny on the show. Manny, what up?
Dude, I got to bring you around New York with me. That was the best intro I've ever gotten.
I'll take it, dude. I'll take it. I work on the intros.
Also, I need to say, the way that you say Slate Milk, unlike anyone else, love it. Not
really?
Just Slate, not Slate Milk. It's Slate Milk. It's just the way that you kind of emphasize the milk. Slate Milk.
I love it. One of the other thing that I truly do love about this thing is that it says on the thing, what does it say? Did you take that off?
Which one?
Oh, shake gently, crack slowly.
Yeah.
So this is like something that I've done with Slate Milk since the get-go, which is I give it 2 shakes, and then I love seeing the little bubbles pop up.
It's an art. It's an art. So, funny story. Before we even launched, we sent some samples to a large broker and shook the crap out of it and opened it. He said it tasted delicious, but got a lap of Slate. And so after that, we're like, all right, when we launch this thing, got to make sure on the package, have some instructions.
Mm-hmm. It's just so good, dude. It's so good. And, people ask me all the time, like, what do I, what are my snacks throughout the day? For me, protein is such an important piece of the puzzle, right? And I think for most people, we are all under eating protein for the most part. Being able to have snacks that have, at least 15 grams of protein is kind of the bare minimum for me.
Okay.
For a snack. Like if I'm going to have a snack and it doesn't have 15 grams of protein, I feel like I'm cheating.
Right.
I feel like I'm eating something that is not actually creating purpose for my mission of being a healthy human being that wants to, have muscle and sustain muscle and recover and all those things. And protein is the catalyst to that, right?
When we started, we didn't even realize we wanted a healthy chocolate milk, like one that we could drink after workouts, one we could drink every day. And I think what we didn't realize is a high protein diet is here to stay. Like you think about how many people are Pelotoning at home or doing at-home workouts, the same people are going to start increasing protein in their diet. So now our whole vision is we believe in 5-10 years, the everyday folk is going to have a high-protein diet, and we want to be at the forefront of that with our drinks.
Yeah, so I want to also share another thing, and I was listening to this on a podcast the other day, which really kind of stuck out to me because I actually don't believe it to be true. In some cases, the statement that was made was, most people that see fitness influencers online or in magazines or, on whatever, like on social media, always in great shape, always shredded, is just not true. They're doing that to get to a photo shoot. They're doing that for a specific time in the year. And the truth is, yes, in some cases, when you look at somebody that is absolutely peeled, 3% body fat on the cover of like bodybuilding magazine.
Like you.
But like when you see that maybe that extreme
right.
is not something that people would be healthy to sustain
Right.
throughout the year. However, I'm pretty shredded year round.
I'm aware.
But
It's
I'm
the
not
first
saying,
time I've ever seen you with a shirt on. So
I'm not saying that to like wear a trophy. I'm saying that because I am very consistent with my fitness and my nutrition and my sleep.
it's not a diet for you. It's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle.
And that's we say we're not a diet product. Like we are a lifestyle brand. Like we're for the people that are trying to improve their lifestyle, and that's eating and exercise a certain way. And that's why you see all these like diets where people lose weight and gain weight and lose weight and gain weight, and it's these extreme diets that you can't sustain. That's why number one, when you create a product, as you know, it's got to taste great. Like taste is the most important thing. You talk to a buyer at any grocery store, any club store, any C-store, they all say the same thing. It's got to taste great. And so when we created this, we wanted it to drink like a chocolate milk, but act like a protein drink. Because there's so many people out there that are exercising however they are, whether they're doing CrossFit, again, like they're riding a bike, they're walking, and they're not getting enough protein because they don't drink protein drinks. But if we can create a protein drink that tastes like a chocolate milk and market it more as a milkshake or a chocolate milk, then we can serve this whole demographic a product, a high protein product that they've never had access to before. And so that's kind of how we think about positioning the brand.
Well, I gotta say, Slate Milk and Creatures of Habit meal one together overnight.
Fire.
It's like if I take the chocolate Slate Milk and put it into my peanut butter Creatures of Habit and mix it and throw it in the fridge overnight, it's just off the chart.
Well, and the night powder mixed with the vanilla.
nightcap.
The nightcap mixed with the vanilla.
Ooh.
The vanilla Slate.
Oh wait, no, I think I told you about that.
Yeah, you did. And I drank it and I was like, I had it every day for a week.
Yeah, it's like a black
Sleeping
and
like a
white.
baby, waking up feeling shredded.
So we both have really cool products that are protein focused, right?
Yep.
And I think that is without a question of a doubt, like if I had to give advice on people that want to be in great shape year round, which I have to say like is totally possible.
Agree.
It is totally possible. I am not like, kale and cucumber guy. I eat a lot of protein, I eat a lot of animal protein. I eat a lot of vegetables. I eat a bunch of complex carbohydrates. I drink a lot of Slate Milk. I eat a lot of meat sticks. Like I have a pretty diverse meal plan, or however you want to call it, lifestyle.
Yep.
And I stay in great shape year round, and I owe it to my consistency in hitting my protein targets.
Yeah. I think another key of protein is it helps you feel full. It makes you feel more sated. So that's why you eat pizza. Like next thing you know, you ate a large cheese, right? You start drinking protein. You drink 2 slates back to back, you're feeling pretty full.
Yeah, and that's
right?
200
It's
cal.
200 cal.
40 grams.
Yeah, a whole pizza is at 1,200, 1,500.
Yeah.
So I think that's the key with protein too, where protein as a macronutrient is marketed as muscle bodybuilding, which is true. Like it obviously it helps you build muscle, but it also helps you eat less. And I think, at least 5 or 6 years ago, I think there was this notion on social media that like eating less was bad for whatever reason. Like it was this like campaign. There are these campaigns about like how you should eat as much as you want, which you can eat as much as you want. But if you want to lose weight, if you want to be more fit, at the end of the day, it's caloric intake.
I definitely don't think you should eat as much as you want.
I mean, you can, but if you want to be fit and have more muscle, unless you're a bodybuilder, then
you should be specific about what you eat.
You should be controlling what you eat.
Yeah.
And having more protein in your diet will help you do that.
So Slate Milk launched in 2019.
Yep.
So you're in your 5th year.
Yeah, late. So it was November 2019.
Very late 2019. Yes. So you're really in your 4th year.
Yeah, 4 to 5.
Yeah.
4 to 5.
What inspired Slate?
Me and my business partner Josh, we were already drinking lactose-free chocolate milk every day. 8 grams of protein, 24 grams of sugar per cup, right from the carton in our fridges. And we both realized if we just made this a little healthier and taste just as good, it would be better for us. It would be better for us.
Were you guys roommates or something?
No, we met each other actually post Northeastern. I'm like 4 years older than Josh, so I'm basically his papa. But we did work together. We did business together in the tech world in Boston, and both just realized that we had the same issue of we were just having too much sugar in our chocolate milk. And it's branded for kids, and the lactose-free version screamed to the world that you're lactose intolerant, and there was no like chocolate milk lifestyle brand that could also be a post-workout. And then as we started digging more and more into it, we realized that the ready-to-drink coffee space was also on fire. So the ready-to-drink protein space was on fire. Ready-to-drink coffee also growing like crazy, and there wasn't a protein option there that had 20 grams of protein or more. So we're like, what if we created a healthy chocolate milk, then also had at the time at least one product that was a healthy chocolate milk with caffeine or some sort of caffeinated chocolate milk, which ended up now is our mocha latte. It evolved into our mocha latte. So now we have 3 high-protein iced coffees that also have 20 grams of protein, 175 milligrams of caffeine. But that's how it all began, was just healthy chocolate milk. Let's do a caffeinated one. People loved the classic chocolate, dark chocolate, and the, at the time, espresso chocolate milk, we called it. Again, now mocha latte. In retail locations actually outsold the other 2 just because it was this combination of caffeine and protein and great taste that people didn't have with that 20 grams of protein. And so that's why we almost like grew the offerings in the coffee space pretty quickly.
I always love to ask a founder, it takes a lot of balls and audacity to think that an idea that you come up with is going to make millions of people want to participate, right? Like that's like a unique skill set where you can be like, I've got this idea. In order for this idea to work, I have to sell millions and millions of dollars worth of this stuff. It doesn't exist. I'm going to create it. I'm gonna call it something, and I'm gonna cross my fingers and put it out into the world. What do you think it was that motivated you to say this thing's gonna work?
I think it all began with we want it. We want this. Like I think with Kreatures, you want it. Like you want this. You think that it's filling a need in your life that isn't currently filled. It's there. We were talking about this before. There are plenty of brands out there that rebrand products that already exist and they have success. What we wanted to create was filling a need that didn't currently exist. We wanted a healthy chocolate milk. Now, like what it really was we wanted a natural, great tasting protein drink that drinks like a chocolate milk. We wanted a protein coffee that tasted like a Frappuccino, and it didn't, with 20 grams of protein, and it didn't exist. So I think first it was we want it. If we can build it, we get to have it. Then it was things like Kickstarter, things like early grocery stores of do other people want it? And the answer was yes, but this is what they want. When we launched, we had 17 grams of protein, 9 grams of sugar. We quickly realized 20 protein and no added sugar was the key. And also, it's more what we wanted. We realized there was a little too much sugar, and it took us a long time to formulating products. Like actually manufacturing goods is a pain in the fucking ass. And I think that's what a lot of people also don't realize is the actual manufacturing of things, especially consumables, is so difficult. And like,
do you still work with the same guy that you used to formulate this?
We're still in contact. Yeah.
Who is it? Can you say it?
No, I can't say. We have great. Like, we work with a handful of teams, but they're all great partners. And I think in the early days, you have a vision for it, and people were like, "When did you know when to launch it?" If it like we tasted it, we thought it was great. We didn't have any notes. We launched it. We got feedback. We made edits. We tasted it. We thought it was good. We didn't have any feedback. We launched it. It's like you don't want to move too quick and potentially harm yourself. So with every decision we make, we're very thoughtful and tactical. What are the downsides? Even with the packaging change, like we have a packaging upgrade, like making protein a little bit more prominent, might that turn off like families? And we just did some digging, talking to customers and like market research. And before we make any change, we obviously do our due diligence. But at a certain point, you just got to make decisions that are best for the business. Yeah. Right? Because if you're just idle the entire time, people are going to race by you.
So you launched the business 2019.
Yep.
When you launched it, who in your mind, who was your customer?
Us. Literally, like, it was the active millennial that no longer drinks chocolate milk. They're not walking around with a kid's chocolate milk, but they love the taste. They were only drinking it, obviously it's a metaphor, but like only drinking it at diners, like on Sunday mornings at the time. It wasn't in their everyday diet.
Like on Sunday mornings, like coming out of the club, or like for brunch on Sunday mornings.
Either or. But you're ordering a chocolate milk, right?
Yeah.
That's the only place you're ordering. You're not going to the store and buying it. In the grocery store, it was thought of as a kid's category and still kind of is. I think we're kind of bridging that gap. But again, we're more focused on the protein drink side of it. But we offer the same drinking experience for the millennial. And so that's where we began. That was who we began by targeting.
Yeah.
And I still think that's, thinking about the bullseye of the customer, I think that's a major piece of that bullseye today. Or, people like yourself, people that are looking for a way to add more protein in their diets and they don't want things that don't taste great. They're always looking to upgrade to things that taste fantastic.
Were you wrong?
In that, or have we been wrong?
No, in that. Were you wrong in that sort of early day potential product market fit human avatar?
No, I think that we were correct. I think that the way that we launched the business and who we launched it for was the proper way to launch it. I think now we're just expanding. But I think we have this base of customers that love our product and drink it. It's in their routine. It's in their diet.
So it's guys like me.
Yeah. I mean, maybe not as not
handsome or smart.
I was going to be way more handsome. No. But you don't have to be a hyper fitness folk, right? It's just people that are, we'd say, healthy-minded customers that are trying to reduce artificial ingredients when they can, but it's not like they're necessarily avoiding sucralose entirely. But we have consumers that will eat a bar with sucralose and have a Slate because they're trying to reduce it. But our customer is the healthy-minded, fitness-minded consumer.
It's so funny. I couldn't have been more wrong when I launched Kreatures of Habit.
Who is it for?
It was for oatmeal people, and I was absolutely. I mean, it was for obviously like fitness-minded oatmeal people, but at the end of the day, I really did think that I was going to get like a sliver of market share from Quaker, right?
Okay.
Like I'm like, okay, like there's Quaker's been around for 100 years.
Right.
Every single kid grew up eating Quaker. It's such a familiar, people don't even think of oatmeal; they think of Quaker, right? Like, I'm gonna steal some market share from those guys eventually, right? Like that's the target. And at the end of the day, what I realized was that couldn't be further from the truth. The Quaker user is a very price sensitive person,
right?
And not that there's anything wrong with that. But meal one, Kreatures of Habit, is not for the price-sensitive person, right? And we had to learn the hard way, right? We kept on fighting for this price-sensitive person, and and we were knocking on empty homes, like that wasn't what it was, and so but thank God, I mean, we figured it out, and we changed sort of our approach and our strategy there, and who knows, down the road maybe we figure out a way to be a little bit more price sensitive. But for right now, we have our crew, and so I like to ask founders that, because sometimes it's interesting to get the response of like, oh yeah, we thought we were for these people, but we found out that these were our people.
I think for us, it was the correct audience, the correct brand, which has evolved since, but the wrong product. And so I think for us, the product evolved less from chocolate milks, more to protein drinks. So I think that's where we were wrong, was the product itself when we first launched. So who is the oatmeal consumer? Like the Quaker, is it mostly like children?
No, it's the masses. It's the masses. Everywhere you go, there's pouches of Quaker. I'm obviously way more sensitive to it now, but everywhere you go, every single office across the country, every single hotel lobby, every single airport is
a lot of like food service.
Yeah, it's just like it's a product for the masses. Everybody gets it. It's very inexpensive.
Right.
It's filled with glyphosate, and it's not good stuff. I mean, I'm not trying to knock Quaker. I'm like, they kill it, but like it's just the truth, right? It is what it is, right?
Well, I feel like Quaker is a product, Kreatures is a brand. I think we talk about that often too. If people are just going to product shop for the least expensive way to ingest protein, they're never going to buy any brand. Yeah. Unless, maybe now the person that was like drinking Red Bull is now moving over to Celsius, but you have to get to a certain point to get the product hunter. Yeah,
and also the truth is that price sensitivity has nothing to do with net worth. It really doesn't.
100%.
Some people are just price sensitive and some people are not, right? Like, it's just that simple. Yeah. It has nothing to do with how much money you have. It has to do with like the way you think about spend. Yep. And so we just stopped fighting for the price sensitive people, and that was massive for us, because we were spending money trying to find everyone,
Right.
or not everyone, but we were trying to find attract these people,
Right.
and we'd get them right to the finish line, and they'd be like, "Oh, hell no, I'm not spending $4 on that. No
Right.
fucking way. I spent 70 cents."
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to talk about habits because I know that fitness is a big part of your life as well, and you love to, it's you're part of this community of fitness in New York City specifically now, and I know that up in Boston it was a big part of your life. So what does your morning look like typically?
So I'm a night exercise guy. So maybe once or twice a week I get a morning workout in. I got Marty up at the strength club at Kenny Santucci's gym that trains me and kicks my ass in the morning sometimes. But morning, I usually wake up and I'll walk on my walking treadmill for an hour and just respond to emails. Like I don't have a morning. That's just how my brain works. I'm like I'm up and at 'em and ready to go, and let's dive in.
So you wake up and you immediately like pop right onto the walking treadmill and just crush emails.
Sometimes like I'll pour maybe like a cold brew coffee and drink it while I'm on the walking treadmill. But
How do you email while you're on the walking treadmill?
go 1.7 miles per hour. I'm not walking at like 3.6.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. I don't have like the shake weights. I'm not like moving and I'm.
You're not a
nice,
shake
easy.
waiter?
No. Remember those things?
I do.
I think I saw like a funny meme. Of
I
those
recently saw something with a shake weight. Actually, it's very funny. So you go right into it. You're just like,
in.
you know what? My cortisol's flying through the roof. It's early morning. This is an opportunity for me to just go.
It's just how I couldn't imagine waking up and not starting. Like that's just always how I've been.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I'm just like ready to start doing shit. Like wake up, first thing I do is check my email. I know people say you're not supposed to do that. I'm like, shit, something's gonna fucking happen. Like let's just make sure.
That's what you do.
That's my thing.
Do you have a time that you typically wake up?
Depends on the day. Usually between 7 and 8.
Okay.
Yeah, so not super early. Because you're like a 4:30 guy, right?
No, I'm like more these days. I'm a 5:15 guy.
Oh, I was way off. Oh, man.
But I think the sub 5 crew is a different crew.
Yeah, like Naz is up at like 2:15.
Yeah, like for me, between 5 o'clock and 5:30 is typically where it goes.
Okay.
And most days I kind of have especially when I'm at home, I have a system. When I'm traveling, I've got like a non-negotiable thing that I do that it's like it's a morning routine, but it's not my like golden standard.
Okay.
But I love the fact that you're like, yo, dude, I get up and I get right to it.
Yeah.
And so what do you do after you hit those emails?
I will start working. Like just dive in. And I mean, you wear a million hats. Like everyone on our team, we probably like 60 now, maybe half are in the field. So half are like HQ and everyone's wearing a million hats and we're just like hammering out what's in front of us, strategizing, building, whatever you got to do. But I'm up, I'm in.
What are a few habits that you do throughout your day that help keep you focused? That you would sort of point to and say, hey, like if somebody's looking to be more organized, someone is looking to be more focused throughout the day, these are a few things that you can think about that I've implemented that have been super helpful.
It's a great question. I don't know if it's like things that I do personally in terms of just organizing work. Like Josh, my business partner, and myself, we have a Slack channel. So we use Slack as a company. We have a Slack channel where it's just like things that we both have to do. Because like we think like he oversees more like half the company, I'll oversee half. But a lot of things like we both take responsibility for. And so like we have a thing where both of us will just see all the tasks that we have to do and it goes back. Like obviously some things just like aren't important and just, like fall through and it doesn't matter. But like the important stuff we'll just hammer through. So just having a place where you and whoever is your counterpart have a list of things that have to get done that you can kind of hold each other accountable for. Like I'm never hitting up Josh like, yo, don't forget to send this email or anything like that. But I think it's just the fact that it's both there or that it's there for us both to see helps us both kind of like strategize and make sure it gets done.
Talk to me about this for a second. I'm a little older than you. What are you, 33?
32.
32.
Don't age me.
I'm 43.
Okay.
So like this is just real talk.
Yep.
Technology, I'm not in love with technology. I don't love a bunch of different. I get so many goddamn emails in general.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everybody on the team wants to work. Everybody wants Slack. Everybody wants Monday. Everybody wants fucking, whatever, all these different things. And I'm like, yo, text me, call me, email me. Now we got Slack. Now we got 5 other things that I've got to be on top of to make sure that I'm communicating in all the different fucking ways. So everybody's up my ass about Slack at the company, at Kreatures, right? They're just like, yo, dude, like if you're not going to do it, all good. Like we get that. We're going to do it. We're going to be on Slack. So I like this thing though, is this a to-do list that you could visually see when you open up Slack? Or do you have to go into certain channels and like, you know?
So for me and Josh, it's just a channel that we click on it and the list is there. But it's just seen by us too. It's not seen by the entire team.
And like once something is knocked off that list, you just get rid of it?
Just exit out. And that's also how Josh and we operate our emails is emails that have to get responded to, we just leave unread and then go in and like hammer them out. So like I'll have emails from like a week and a half ago that maybe someone didn't reply to or someone on the team should have replied to or I should have replied to that I know isn't time sensitive. I'll just leave it unread. And then like throughout the day constantly, I'll just kind of like sift through, make sure there are none that need to be responded to. And if so, like obviously priorities come up, things happen, but just hammer them out like when you get time throughout the day. In terms of Slack, essential for us. We have obviously dozens of retail partners. We have e-commerce. We have like our website. We have Amazon. We have teams everywhere. And the key for us, one of the best things about Slack or one of my favorite channels, if not my favorite channel, is we have what we call a wins channel. So our field team, when they get a great win in a store, posts in the wins channel and people can like comment on it and like it and interact and engage with it. And it also allows everyone on the team to see what's going on and like what wins we're getting. So like biggest week ever on Amazon, we'll post on there. Like a huge display at a retail location, obviously approved by corporate, like we'll post on there. So I think it builds this community aspect where it's almost like this hybrid of text and email. But Josh and I, like we text all the time. Like most employees were all on Slack or all email, but Josh and I like all day. Like I'm sure he's texted me 8 times.
So how do you distinguish, like when does somebody know to Slack or to email internally?
Internally, typically Slack. An email would be if you're looping in someone from the outside, or if you're forwarding an email from an outside party, then you can like communicate on it where it like needs a reply to the outside party. Again, it's not like a science. That's just where my brain goes as to when it happens. Typically, we're not like looping everyone in on an email chain and all like pitching in with their thoughts.
You and Jonathan, my partner at Kreatures, who's probably sitting outside here, you're the same age, and I would imagine. Well, I know he thinks the exact same way. You know, it's just for whatever reason for me, the organization of having to constantly remind myself to open up another application sucks. I hate it. I hate it because I spent so many years without Slack, right? As a business owner, I opened up my first business in 2010. The email flow really kicked in for me in 2000, late 2010, early 2011. And, it's been 150 plus emails a day from that day forward till this very day, right? The emails are just there. So and my assistant is also, she's like, dude, I'm trying to do my best, but they're just nonstop. And so my thought is like, how can I, and I'm asking you advice, and maybe advice for the listener too. Like if there's a steady flow of emails, and I'm sure you get them.
Oh yeah.
Like what is a management style, or how do you manage it?
So Slack, internal communication, email, external communication. Slack is conversational, always ongoing. Like, yes, we have tasks, like we're doing packaging update, we're talking about Amazon, whatever, but it's a constant flow of communication. Whereas email, you have a subject, you have a body. That email chain, you're just talking about the subject or that specific project.
So on Slack, you can @ whoever, right? So are you checking in on all the conversations or only where your name is brought
So
up?
me and Josh are part of every single conversation, just so we have a 360 view on what's going on with the business.
But how the fuck are you managing time efficiently there? Like if you're like, there's all sorts of employees talking amongst themselves, all sorts of channels, shit's constant. You also got the external email. Like, how do you have time to do anything productive if you're like in on all of these conversations?
The time it takes to go through all of the Slack channels every day, call it an aggregate. If I'm not contributing, an aggregate of 20 to 30 minutes. Just because I'm not like responding to things in channels that are like retail sales focused, right? So I'm just peeking. Josh and I always want to know what's going on with the entirety of the business so we can make calculated decisions. I think that's the key. Is if there are people on our team that are communicating, like people communicate one-on-one all the time, but like the big things with certain retail accounts, with marketing, with Amazon, with like whatever it is, the more information we have, the more we can make calculated decisions on the best strategy to grow. And so that's why I think it's important as an executive of any company just to know what's going on, because we're not in an office. Like I can't like pop into a room and be like, hey, so like how's the production run for July looking? Like it's just we have a communication channel to discuss all of that. And then outside of that, it's just like I'm sure your job too. Most of our job is communicating and thinking, right? I think that's one of the other things where I'm sure you get asked all the time, and I'm curious to hear your answer. Like, what do you do? Like, what do you actually do every day? I'm sure people ask you this. People still ask me if I'm full-time on Slate. I'm not offended, but like, yeah, I'm full-time. Like, it's overtime, baby. But like what you actually do every day is you communicate, and then you got to think. Like as an executive of a business or a co-founder of a business, like you're thinking about the next move. If you're thinking about the next move, like how should I attack this account? Like how should I fix this problem? Or like this problem's going on, like let's solve it. The time that you're thinking, you're not doing anything else. Like you're not responding to emails, you're not checking Slack, like you're not doing, like thinking takes time. And I think that so much time is spent just strategizing internally or having a conversation about strategy. And that's what I think Josh and I learned most about growing a business. That's what takes so much time, but it's so necessary, because the wrong move will be so much worse for the business than just sitting there and making sure that you take the proper time to think. But you got to move. Again, you can't take forever. But the thinking and strategizing, what if this happens? Like we will have conversations before we go into an investor meeting, a retail meeting. If we say this and they say that, then what should we say? And going down all these, like let's have a plan of if the conversation goes here, if it goes south, if it goes north, like let's just shut up and let it happen. Yeah. Like we will try to go down every avenue, especially for some of the big retailer or investor meetings.
Obviously, I don't know what the books at Slate looks like, right? From the outside looking in, it looks like you guys are doing fucking amazing.
Appreciate that.
And so congratulations, because without a question of a doubt, the facade is great. You know, what's the key to your success as a human being, dude? Like what, if you had to point to one thing? I wanted to talk about the habit stuff. I wanted to talk about the organizational stuff. I think that's really helpful. It's like really great, chewable things that people can stick in their pocket and just take away with them. This is a little bit more broad. Yeah. What is your experience thus far as a founder and entrepreneur of a great company that's probably just scratching the surface of its success? What do you think you can chalk up your success to?
I think we got a long way to go. I think that we have had
I'm not talking about the business. I'm talking about you.
Oh, me personally?
Yeah.
People. It's the human beings that you learn from and teach you what to do and what not to do, whether they know it or not. It's looking at it, it's asking for help. It's like we have some amazing investors and people that we consider advisors, like the founders of Yasso Frozen Greek Yogurt that just sold the Unilever. The co-founder of Halo Top, Doug Boughton, who's just like, we hit him up all the time and just ask questions about the Halo Top story. And he has a company now called Gatsby Chocolate. Did he send you some or not yet?
Yeah, not yet.
Oh, you're on the diet, right? But they're just people that have been through it in the past that we ask and learn from. And I think it's having an open mind and understanding that there are going to be people that give you great advice, and there are going to be a lot of people that have opinions and give you advice that might not be applicable to you and your business. It's having an open mind, but making sure you're listening to the right people as well. Because everyone's got an opinion, like, which is, we ask for them. It's great. It's not always correct, but I think that's part of it. I think also it's knowing when to be stubborn. Ask my mother. I'm a stubborn a-hole. The reason why I wanted to start my own business was because every job I've ever had, I thought I could do something better. And maybe that's cocky, whatever. Like that's just the way that I think, is I wanted to do it my own way. And I never thought about entrepreneurship. I just growing up having jobs and be like, what if we did this? What if we did that? So I think knowing when to be stubborn, but also knowing when to take direction in coaching and kind of be like, all right, you know what, you're right. And Josh holds me very accountable to that. And not only Josh, but Ron, who's my older brother that runs marketing, Justin, who runs ops, Mike and sales, and Todd and the rest of the team. And like I think everyone holds each other accountable in a good way, but we also aren't afraid of friction internally.
Mm-hmm.
And I know this kind of relates to business, but it all circles back to having the right people around you. Because the right team, if you have the right team and the wrong product, you'll fix the fucking product.
Mm-hmm.
If you have the right team and the wrong brand, you'll fix the fucking brand. Like if you have the right people, like, you know, I'm a Boston guy, obviously. Like Max Crosby is now part of Slate, so I'm more of a Raiders fan, but I'm in my core a Pats fan. Like you take the '07 Patriots, they're going undefeated in the regular season wearing any uniforms, right? Like it's the people. It's when it comes to that
I love
stuff,
that analogy.
it's the name on the back versus the front when it comes to actually building the core of something.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you get big enough, obviously you got brand equity, you have all this shit. But I think it starts with co-founder. Like blind trust with Josh, blind trust with any of honestly any of our team members, especially the ones that I interact with on a daily basis. Because some of them that are great I don't know as well yet, but I'm getting to know more people. But it's just blind trust, and it's key, and it's what allows us to like sleep at night, is knowing that we're all in it together, and no matter what happens, we're gonna wake up and figure it out as a team, and we never have to worry about someone on the team like straying or doing something sketchy, because you get a lot of freedom in a startup, but also a startup with no office. So it's the people.
I was so happy you said that. That's been the lifeblood of my happiness and success since I was a little kid.
Yeah.
People and connecting with humans at scale. You know, when I was running Meatball Shop in Seymour's, you know, at one point I had over 700 employees on the streets of New York in restaurants.
Crazy.
And I really did my absolute very best to get to know each and every one of them, and it was obviously super fucking hard, right?
Yeah.
But like, you know, unfortunately, at any given time, I have allocated 10% of all people in business as either stealing or out to lunch, right? Like just 10%. It's an allocation that I kind of say to myself, and 10% of my life, I'm out to lunch. You know what I mean? Like it's just the facts, man.
Yep.
Like, you know, you can't wake up every single day Superman or Superwoman, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, people are there's volatility. You know what I'm saying? There's volatility, and you have to have a place for that, right? You have to have one of the first things I think you said when you walked in here today was empathy, and I know you're an empathic human.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an empathic human,
Definitely.
and not every founder or business owner is, right? I would argue to say, if I had to put a finger on it, those that are not are just not as happy.
Fair.
Could be way more rich, right? Have way more things. But when they put their head down at night, are they as happy?
Completely reasonable. I think that's fair. And I think, we were talking about this before, where some of the founders that Josh and I respect the most there's kind of this scale of founders we see. On one end, it's extremely empathetic, like maybe to a fault. And then on the other end, it's fuck you my way. The founders that I think we see have the most success are somewhere on that scale. Not fuck you, I'm doing it my way, everyone else is dumb, regardless of how much success you've had.
Although there are some really successful
Definitely. But and then others where maybe you should do, someone is successful and says, maybe you should do this and here's why, and makes a good sell. And they're like, you know what, you're right. And just flip the business. Somewhere in the middle of extremely empathetic and fuck you my way. Like those are the founders where we're like, they have it figured out. And I think also when it comes to a founder, you have your style, right? Like going back to Tom Brady, like him and Mahomes are Tom Brady's a pocket passer. Like he's not out here like Brett Favre, like running the sidelines, throwing up Hail Mary. Like that's Mahomes, right? And it's owning your style of being a founder, because people will see right through the bullshit. If you're an extremely empathetic person and you come out and you kind of act fuck you, not like disrespectfully, but like you know it all, people will be like, this guy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Right. He's an empathetic person.
Wishy-washy.
Right. So I think it's finding your style of what kind of founder you are.
Dude, I just gotta I mean, so unfortunately, I am an empathetic person. Okay. This is now my third business, right? Yep. I've built 2 businesses, created value, sold equity, had a nice exit
Yep.
and create it again. What I learned about the first two is that I need to be in charge, period. I need to be in charge. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm not a good collaborator.
Yep.
That doesn't mean that I don't appreciate other people's opinions. That doesn't mean that I need to be told what to do at times, or more than at times, like depending on where the business is, like surrounding myself with the right people to be like, yo, dude, you're doing fucking 90 and a 30 and there's a bunch of speed bumps. Like you're fucked.
Accountability. Someone to hold you accountable.
Someone to just tell me what the fuck is going on.
Everyone needs that.
So I learned that I do need to be in charge, right?
Okay.
So when I know that now I know that about myself, and I didn't know that about myself in the other two, right?
Okay.
Like I thought that the visionary guy could just kind of fall in line with the finance and the ops guys, right? But what I really found was that, like, if you have the balls to be the visionary guy and put the team together to go out there and fucking do it, for me, once I felt threatened on the vision, like people were gonna try to, derail the plan, it wasn't good look. It wasn't good for me.
Yep.
And so in this new business here, I learned twice, and I said, man, I gotta be the final. I gotta be the veto guy. I gotta be able to have that.
Final boss.
Gotta be the boss.
Yeah.
And it's not about being the boss.
Yeah.
It's about, I know this about myself, right? I'm a kind, caring, loving dude, but I'm also, I got to be the boss.
You want to create the vision in your head. I think that's the key. And when we hire people, when we talk to investors, when we bring people on the team, it's about making sure that people understand the vision. And it might change, but I think like you said, like, this is your baby, and you see things that other people might not see. And so being able to carry out your vision, I think, is everything.
Well, the thing is that I've seen the whole entire business to fruition.
Right, exactly.
The whole thing, every step.
Yep.
Now, there's lots of details in the operational, logistical things that I haven't seen, right?
Yep.
That's the shit that you just, like, you turn the corner and somebody's standing there waiting for you, you
Yep.
know? But, like, that's life. The plan and how I see this thing happening, honestly, so far, so good, right?
Yep.
I've brought on a co-founder who I have never worked with a guy who I genuinely love as much as Jonathan as a business partner. But the beauty of the partnership for us is he knows exactly what I just said. I'm kind, I'm loving, I'm caring, I can be assertive, but I need to be the boss. He totally is like, yep.
That's the right partner.
Fucking gets it.
That's the right partner.
And he is so much smarter than I am. Like, so much smarter than I am, and because of that, the respect that we have for one another is so mutually beneficial. There's never like a, hey, I'm the finance guy, or hey, I'm the creative or marketing guy. It's like, dude, we're both needed equally.
Yep.
We both need to exist here. You're not more important than I am. I'm not more important than you are. So let's fucking, like, push that to the side, and team this out, because that is where most business partnerships fail
all the time,
right?
It's crazy
when one person feels like they're just bringing way more to the table because they're smarter or more creative.
Yep.
Oh, you're sitting, crunching numbers. Oh, you're fucking out there talking to people. You know what I mean? Like,
100%. And I think that's why me and Josh work so well together, is we think of each other as equals. Like, Josh knows anything that comes to finance or actually going in the Excel and doing shit, like, we'll share a screen and do it together, but he's driving. Like, he's driving, he's running the show. And anything that comes to the brand or marketing or anything like that, his opinion matters, and, like, he'll contribute, but he knows I'm running the show with my team. So I think that's the key, is finding that yin and yang, but knowing that even if you disagree, when we disagree on anything internally, whether it's me and Josh, whether it's me and someone else on the team, Josh and someone else on the team, we will hash it out until we agree. Like, we make like, there's no, you know what, this is my call, we're doing it this way. It's, we go back and forth and we mutually agree, we move forward, and we have this saying, NLB, never look back.
That's amazing. That's incredible that you have that. I mean, for me, I think specifically with Jonathan, he has complete 100% autonomy. 100%. I can't even say butt heads on certain things. We don't agree on certain things. And it took, like, for instance, it took us forever to pull Creatures of Habit off of Amazon. Forever, right? 8, 9 months.
Okay.
He was so against Amazon. So against Amazon.
Interesting.
And I'm seeing to myself, this is a revenue stream that is not insignificant for us.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not making money on it. And he's like, we're not making money on it. And the goal for our business is to be profitable. Yeah. So, like, why would we put any energy into something that is going to require work, inventory, communication, structure, logistics? Why would we put any energy into something that is not going to make us money when we know that we want to be a profitable business?
Right.
And in my mind, I'm like, because it's driving X money to the top line, and it makes me feel better. And he's like, dude, no, I'm sorry. Like, I'm not going to agree. I just we'll agree to disagree until you agree with me. Yeah. and ultimately he won, right? And so I love the ability to have a guy like that also, who just like is like, yeah, dude, like I understand you're the CEO of the company. Like, I'm also not going to stop making my argument.
100%.
You know?
You want that friction. I think
constantly.
Yeah, and going back to what you said, I think a lot of early stage companies, like obviously we all grew up in this tech bubble, right? The goal of any company is to make money. I think a lot of people lose sight of that with the tech crunch, raised X amount of money, or Forbes, what. Like, we're all here for the same reason. Don't get me wrong. I want to build a generational brand, but the goal of the business is to make money. And so if it's not making you money today and it won't make you money in the future, it's probably not a good part of the business. Mm-hmm. And I think that's something where early on you obviously know, but you got to kind of be slapped across the face with it. Like, our goal, like, you need to be making money. If you're selling something and it's top line, great, but if there's no margin there, it's not a business.
Yeah, the heart, you know, and I think, and we'll wrap this thing up, you know, but even to this day, some of the biggest businesses in the world have never been profitable. Mm-hmm. Nowhere near profitable. Mm-hmm. Nowhere near, right? And so where I come from in the world of restaurants, if you're not profitable, you are done. Yep. It's not a conversation. It's not like, let me sit down with the investors and see if they want to reinvest. Yeah. They're like, wait, business, losing money, restaurant, you know, contingent on people, contingent on weather, contingent on the Grammys, contingent on the Super Bowl, contingent on the Giants playing, like, no.
Right.
You're not making money. It's not going to make money. You're fucking out.
Yep.
Close the doors.
Yep.
You know, and so that's where I come from. And so when I got into this space, I'm like, wait a second, people are fucking doing millions and millions in sales and they're fucking burning hundreds of thousands of dollars every month. Like, how is that even possible?
It's crazy.
So anyway, I'm so happy that I really do think the tides are changing in that way. I think investors are starting to say, hey, like, actually, no, like, I don't care if you're just a startup. Like, if you're not profitable or at least have a plan and pathway to profitability, it's not really.
I think that's the key. Is there a plan? Like, early on, like, needing the capital to get off the ground because your MLQs are like
huge,
you're hitting, like, are high, and you need the money, you need to hire the people, and you need to front load the business a little bit. The plan's gonna change. Like, you could launch a business today and say, I'm gonna be profitable in year 5. I'm gonna do this, and I'll get there. That's a great plan, and maybe it's investable. The plan will change. It might be another 5 years, it might be 3 years earlier, because prices will change, strategy will change. You'll need to take things out of the product. You'll need to change the product, whatever it is. But I think it's, like, to us, our North Star is how can we get to profitability as soon as possible while still growing the business at the clip we're growing it. Yeah. And some businesses are just grow as fast as possible, and then the tides will change, which is a strategy that has worked for some. And then some are, let's be profitable from day one, and we'll build it brick by brick over the next 20 to 30 years, which is another strategy too. I think everyone has their own strategy. Once you choose your strategy, you got to fucking go, though. It's hard to be around for 10 years, profitable, slowly growing, and then finally just, like, hit the gas. Because if you're having some success, maybe some people will come in and do it bigger and better. Who knows? Maybe you'll have that brand equity. And then if you grow too quickly and you burn too much cash, there better be a way higher ceiling than you're already at. If you're already doing $1 billion in sales and you're burning millions of dollars, there are probably, like, I don't know, 30 companies in the world that will maybe buy you, depending on the category. So then it's, what's the plan once you're already doing $1 billion? Like, can you grow it to $5 billion in sales? Like, who knows? So I think figuring out that path also depends on the size of the market you're going after. Mm-hmm. So if you're going after a small niche product market, then growing very quickly, you're probably going to hit your ceiling in the market pretty quickly. And then where do you go? Where if you have a massive market, you can grow much faster knowing that the market's much larger, where $1 billion in sales in a $10 billion market is $100 million in sales in a $1 billion market. So it all just depends on the size of the market too, which are things, again, we've learned along the way where we're kind of straddling this ready-to-drink protein and ready-to-drink coffee market at this time, potentially adding more products that will make our TAM, our total addressable market, even larger. So that's how we think about the growth path of our business.
Dude, you're in such a sweet spot, man.
Appreciate
and
it.
you've
You
got
too.
such great things happening. I'm like, it's so awesome to watch and be like a tiny little sliver part of.
You're part of it. You're part of the brand.
I love Slate Milk. If you guys are not on Slate Milk or haven't tried Slate Milk, you should. I say it all the time because I post about Slate all the time, but it's a great business, a great product, great founders behind it.
Appreciate it.
Last piece, dude.
Yeah, let's go.
How can what would be something that you'd want to hear as a young aspiring entrepreneur now, knowing what you know as a young successful entrepreneur?
I would say make small mistakes and learn. You don't need to step up to the plate for the Boston Red Sox in your first at bat ever. Like, it's okay to start farmers, like when it comes to this stuff, farmers markets, Kickstarters, things, test and learn. And there are no shortcuts in business. Like, if you're building something from scratch, the brand will change, or what we say, evolve. The product will change or evolve. You will not have it from day one. And getting something out there and testing small and learning and building. And then when you have success replicating, that's our whole thing, is we have kind of this system of when we launch a new retailer or a new area or whatever, we basically bring our whole system to that retailer. Like test, learn, figure out what works, and replicate. That's our thing. And you gotta be patient. Like we always say when we talk to people that we want to get involved in the business, like if we're selling or whether it's an investor or retailer, we like to be persistent but not pushy. The second you're pushy and annoying, people have so much other shit on their minds. You are so insignificant in someone's mind. Like you live Kreatures, I live Slate. But to other people, like retail buyers, investors, even consumers, you're very insignificant. And knowing that, just finding a way to make their life easier somehow, the little things, being great partners, all that shit matters. Like, it's so much more than just numbers on an Excel sheet. With a lot of these relationships, you're building them from scratch, and hopefully one day you'll be as big as the big guys. But today, if you can make someone's life easier, then the chances of them working with you are significantly higher.
Where can people find you?
SlateMilk.com on our website. We're on Amazon. We're in most grocery stores around the country. But if you go to SlateMilk.com and look at our store locator, you can find the stores.
And if they want to follow along your story, your journey.
Me personally?
Yeah.
I'm Manny Lubin on Instagram, Josh Belinsky on Instagram. Josh isn't a big Instagram guy, but we're getting him going a little bit. But the Slate Milk Instagram has most of the content too.
Sick. What a good one. What a good one. I love being able to sit down with founders and talk about the trials and tribulations, the path, the journey, the raceway, or the horse carriage, right? Like a couple of different ways to skin this cat, and you can go nice, slow, and steady, or you can, put it into sixth gear and hit the gas. I think Manny's sort of somewhere in between there with Slate Milk, and it's been amazing for me to watch and see and learn from the brand, and just like high five for the big win. So I'm stoked that Manny was able to come here, talk to us about some habits and rituals and routines, but also talk about the journey of building an awesome brand that I personally believe is going to be a $1 billion brand plus. I mean, I don't know why it wouldn't be. I mean, this stuff is really good. They've got the right people around it. Chances are, if you're listening to this podcast, you have tried and used Slate Milk. So what would make me super stoked is if you guys share the podcast. This was a good one. You just listened to the whole fucking thing. Share it with your friends, share it with your family, share it with your coworkers, share it with your employees, share it with your partner, your business partner. Share it with someone that you fucking hate. Just to bring a smile to their face in spite. No, don't do that. But I love you guys. I really appreciate you guys. If you would do me a favor and take a few seconds out of your day to give me a 5-star rating and just write great podcast in a review, Bingo. That would be such an amazing asset for the Creatures to have a podcast. I love doing the fucking podcast. It's part of the business, and it really does help get more people to listen to it, and really help pump Creatures to Habit. So, you know the drilly drill. Until the next one, y'all. Peace.